Good afternoon, Facebook. Um, Good afternoon, YouTube. Sorry about that. It is Saturday afternoon. It's Greg Martin, HTML Comics, bringing you a video. Today I'm going to talk about the next batch I'm going to send to CGC and just a couple things. I got 2 books back from CGC early. I submitted, I want to say 35, 33, something like that, and 5 to CBCS. I suspect they'll get to me Monday or Tuesday, and I'll do an unboxing. But as I said before, I'm not going to hide the grades and do some magic reveal. I know what my grades are, and because I just want to know, and I'm not, make that big a deal. But one of the things that I wanted to make a difference is that first one is an Avengers 11 that I got back from CGC. And I got this cleaned and pressed at Basement Comics up in Aberdeen. And, I got a 5.0. Mid-grade, early issue, decent book. But what also got me was that I got this Avengers 87 done same time by CGC, The Origin of T'Challa. That got a 5.0. And I'm like, seriously? One got cleaned and pressed, one did not. But to come with the same grade, and I thought this looked actually much better than the Avengers, but this is one of the arbitrary things that happens when you send books out. They come back and they're graded, and that's what they are. Now, I refuse to chase a grade. I refuse to crack things open and get them cleaned and then resubmit them. I just it's just too much time and money, and it's not that important. Now, if I was a flipper, maybe, but it's just not that. I'm glad I got it graded. It's collected, so it's worth $30. It's worth $30. That's what it is. So, then I started thinking, what's so important when it comes to sending something off to get graded? And for me, it is if it's an important book, and I want to preserve it and keep it, then fine. So usually first appearances or first issues or important changes in storylines, I would look to get those graded. A lot of early issues like issue 3, 4, stuff like that, not so much, but it depends. I mean, I have an X-Men, I want to say an X-Men 3 coming that's being cleaned and pressed. I don't know if I'll do that because that may cost a fair amount of money to do. So who knows? But that's where we are. So like I said, when I get my other books back, I'll do a video showing them. Do my shout outs to Team CGC 9.8, Larry up in Canada, who got me started. Shout out to Manny and Chino, R&R Comics down in Houston. They do a great auction. Wednesdays and Friday nights. Wednesdays more lesser important books. Friday nights more keys and more important books. So, but a very good auction. Guy on Sunday, Strictly Comics. He does an auction. I do that online on Sundays. Good thing. To our fellow people, Kevin Anderson, comic book flipping, Canadian comic collector, all the other guys that support me on this video, shout out to you. Let's help each other out and let's talk about our books. Burke, same thing. I try to remember the people, but it's tough. So we go after comics a lot, of some of the same comics, but we share our passion for the hobby. And again, it's a hobby. So for me, I'm not a flipper. I don't do this because I'm trying to make money or I'm trying to upgrade grade to get the best books possible. I do it because I like the book. So for me, the joy is getting a book on auction, or finding a good raw book, nice cover, in good shape, and sending it out and see what I get. I think I have a decent eye. So if I can get one that gets a decent grade, then I'm happy. Because, like I said, some of these 9.8s cost quite a lot of money. And while I may be able to afford it, I just don't need my finance guy giving me a phone call going, hey, Greg, see you spent 80 grand. What's that about? You know, and telling, hey, I bought an X-Men 1. And you go, what? X-Men 1, you know, it's a comic book. And there'll be that long pause on the phone as he tries to phrase his words carefully, to have a nice way of saying, are you an idiot? Spending that kind of money on a comic book? It's your money, do what you want. But better ways to spend that money and preserve it than a comic book. And you know what? I have to kind of agree. Well, you know, we'll do some other stuff. But again, this is just to show what I'm going to send up. And like I said, my strategy is to send up about 10 to 12 books a month to CGC to get graded. That way I don't get overwhelmed with the cost, and I can just do it bit by bit. I mean, I've had these comics for years, in some instances decades, so a few more months is not going to hurt anything. So, but we'll get started, because it's always about the books. So first one I'm going to send up is this Amazing Adventures #1. You know, it was in my garage in a long box, and I passed over it the first time just because I was, you know, looking for Batman and, you know, Spider-Man stuff, Amazing Spider-Man stuff. So I passed over this. Then I went back through and a little closer, and then I saw this 12 center. I was like, oh, 12 center. Let me pull it and just see what, you know, what's it about. And found out it's the first appearance of the Inhumans in their own book. Pretty high on the Go Collect and pretty high on the Comics Price Guide list. So I'm like, okay, well, I guess I need to send this in, because again, it's first issue, so that means some importance. So we'll send that out. You know, because it's an old issue, you know, I think I'll probably get a 5 or 6. Be happy if I get a 7, but that's what I'm thinking, because they'll take it out and pick it apart with the yellow pages and all the off-white pages. But that's the thought. Same thing. In my garage, in the long box, at the front of the Spider-Man stuff. Again, paid no attention to it. I just looked at it and said, oh, it's Spider-Man and Punisher. The giant said, I'll look it up and see. Lo and behold, it's really worth something, so I will send this up. This, again, you know, I rebagged it, but, you know, could it use a clean and press? Sure, it could. But, you know, I don't know. I don't know. I may let CGC do it just to see what they do and what it comes back as. The way it's sitting now, I've got issues on the corners, a little issue on the spine. So, you know, I might get a 4 or 5. And I might just do it just to keep it and not bother with it. So that's the second one. Now, this Miss Marvel #1 I got from Manny and Chino. I bought one of their R&R boxes, $450, and with a bunch of keys in it. It was one of those nothing but keys boxes, and this came in it. Shout out to them, because they had this and some other really, really good books. Well worth the money. So, and I'm usually not a big mystery box person, but you know, put some trust in them, and they delivered really well. So this Miss Marvel, to my surprise, actually is worth quite a bit. So it's a decent grade. Should be a decent grade. So we'll see what it comes back as. Again, first issue for Ms. Marvel. Now, this Nova, apparently because he's got his own show coming out in the NCU or Disney Plus, is now a hot book. And I was able to win this in an auction. Been looking for it. So I said, okay, fine. But, also I found in one of my long boxes issue 3 and an issue 8 of this line. No one, but issue 3 and issue 8. Those will not go to get graded, but this one will. They always look good on the cover, but once they pull it out and start poking through it, who knows what they'll find. But good key issue right now because of the show coming up. So we'll send this off and see what happens with that. Now, this has been sitting in my garage, gotta say 30, 34 years. Had no idea it was there. I mean, I just was going through and saw, excuse me? What is this? Because I bought one that's a 9.8. Just sent another one out to CGC that should be coming back Monday or Tuesday. So I thought that was it. So I find this and I'm going, wow, and it's a newsstand. That's what gets me. A newsstand. I said, okay, well, this one now has to go because it's it looks in really good shape. It should get an 8.85 or above. Really should. I mean, I will be disappointed if it comes back. Honestly, I'll be disappointed if it comes back less than a 9, but it should get an 8.85. But we all know what this is, so, Again, in the garage, in a long box. I didn't even have a board behind this. Just in a bag. 361, first appearance of Carnage with this movie coming out. This looks on fire. On fire. I have one that's a 9.8 that I bought from Marty at Lost in Time Comics. And now I got this one. And I'm like, all right, so we'll send this up. See what this happens with. When I have them in my garage all this time, I can't complain if it comes back over a 9. I really can't, because it's a testament to them being kept in a board, kept in a box, in a cool, dry place for all this time, and not suffering any real damage. And that's really kind of what you want. So this will go up in the next batch as well. Firestone #1. I had no idea this was, I saw this in the garage. There's a #1 issue, and so like I said, I'll pull it and take a look at it. And it ends up being pretty valuable issue. So, in decent shape. So we'll send it out, see what happens with it. My hope is it gets a good grade, comes back. I'm not going to get it clean and pressed. I'm just not going to do that. I'll just send it up there and see what happens. But Firestone #1. Now, this X-Men 96, it's the bracket of X-Men 94, 95, and 96 with the new team. I got this at an auction, on my Sunday auction. The guy had it, and, so I paid a decent amount for it, but it's in pretty decent shape. It really is. So my hope is that it does well. Because it's a relatively important book. So X-Men 96, we'll see what happens with that. Now, this is Watchman 1. I know I have this series in my garage, but this one I also got from Manny and Chino in the R&R box, the 450 box with the keys. Came with a Watchman 1. I had no idea it was that big an issue until I looked it up, and I was like, whoa, okay. I guess we'll have to send this off to CGC as well, because it's in really good shape, and hopefully get a good grade on this one. Now we have Amazing Spider-Man Annual 16, New Captain Marvel. Again, this was in my garage with all the other annuals I've got. I got annuals from 13 to 24, so Speedball and everybody else. The Wedding to Mary Jane I ended up selling to my comic shop years ago, so I don't have that. But this one I have kept, and so with the, I guess, relative importance of that and the good shape that it's in to be sitting in my garage for 30 years, I will send this off and hope that comes back in a good grade. So, like I said, I'm just going to do 10, 11, 12 at the most. Last one, Amazing Spider-Man 102. Yeah. The second appearance of Morbius. Got this at auction with Chino and Manny on, I gotta say, Friday night. Didn't think it was worth all that when I bought it. Looked it up. It's, going crazy because the Morbius thing's going crazy. So, with that, I'll send it up and take a look and, hope it's not a bad shape. I expect, if I get a 5 or a 4, 5 or 6 on this, I'll be okay. I could, try to get it cleaned and pressed and straighten the spine out. I just don't do that. I just don't. I mean, other people do. They're welcome to do it. It's just not something I do. So, there you have it. Quick little video about 2 books that I got back in. The next set of books that are going to go back out. Like I said, I've got 5 coming in from CBCS. They're all signed and graded. That's why I sent them CBCS to the verification process, see how that goes. And I've got, I want to say, 32 coming back from CGC. So those should be here. All should be here Monday or Tuesday. When they are, I'm probably going to do 2 videos unboxing them. But again, no surprise. I'm not going to hide this thing. I'll just bring them out, show them to you, tell you some of the stories behind them. Some I'm going to be very disappointed about. I will let you know. I saw the grades. I was just like, you got to be kidding me. Seriously? Come on. And so, it won't be a shock, but, I'll look at it and just go, I just don't get it. Same thing like the Avengers 87, the 5.0. I'm like, really? So, anyway, have a good weekend. Again, shout out to all those subscribers. If you like what you hear, please hit the like button and hit the subscription button. We will see you soon, and I'll be running around and try to check on you guys as well. All right, take care.